Oh, it's been a while, hasn't it? Yes, it has. Well, I've had a few things happen. I have been upgraded in rank, so that's some good news. That's a recent event of a couple months ago. I am now today sitting in front of you as Sergeant Scott, formerly Specialist Scott. Anyhow, today I've got something kind of special. I've had a couple of requests for it. A couple of them on YouTube, a couple of them from personal friends of mine, people in the company. And today, what we're going to be doing is actually, sorry, hold on, let me back up. I'm going to come at you with two videos. This is going to be the first one because this one I actually have all the parts to do right here and now. I've got this thing up on a Lazy Susan. I was going to try a new thing so that I could, like, rotate it more easily while I'm talking and doing things. And we're going to see how well that works out. If it doesn't work out, then I'll just take a Lazy Susan away. You know me, I like to do everything in one long cut. So, video one is going to be this one. In this video, we're going to be 12-volt fan modding the Xbox One. This is my Xbox One, and I'm doing a solid for all of y'all. I am voiding my warranty, which expires on December 1st of this year. Yes, December 1st, 2016. I checked that about an hour ago, before I was getting set up. Sorry, my cat was scratching the couch. Anyhow, the next video I'm going to be coming at you with is one that is actually being done simply for convenience, because I had somebody, I put out an ad on Craigslist because, you know, this is the only Xbox One that I have. All the different mod things that I need to do, I tend to prefer to only do them on Xboxes that I actually need that work done on them. So what I did is I put an ad up on Craigslist and I said, you know, hey, do you need, you know, do you have any Xbox systems, original, 360, One, what have you, that need any work done? And somebody contacted me and he said that he has a disk read error. And the issue that he's having is he takes a disk, he pops it in, he lets the drive pull the disk in at its own pace, and he lets it try to begin to spin, but it doesn't do anything, it won't read the disk. So I checked online to see if there's any similar issues, and people were saying that it's not the laser, because I was thinking it was the point of target problem that we had with the Xbox 360. Turns out that's not it. Turns out these Blu-ray drives, if your Xbox One was manufactured between 2013 and 2014, roundabout now, depending upon how heavily you've used it or not used it, it may or may not, there's a solid 50-50 chance from what I've been reading on the internet, depending upon who manufactured it, depending upon the parts that are on the inside, it may be messing up with the Blu-ray drive. It may be doing this weird thing where it only brings it in about to right here, and it actually needs to be about right here, just a quarter inch further in, and it'll actually sit properly in the drive, it'll actually spin, and it'll actually read. But what's happening is it's only coming in a quarter inch short of where it should be, and it's not reading. Because the drive clamps shut on it, the motor spins, scratching up the disk. Thankfully not in any sectors that actually have real data on them. But still, it's a bit of an issue. Now, it can be worked around if you take the disk and you let it go in, but you hold it as it begins to get pulled in, and you listen for 4 clicks, and then let go. Now, those 4 clicks are going to be real fast. It's going to be rat-tat-tat-tat, like rapid fire from a gun. Okay? Sorry, like burst mode on an M16, except an M16 only fires 3 rounds instead of 4. So you're going to be listening for a 4-round burst coming from your Xbox One, and at that 4th burst, you're going to let go. Or sorry, that first click, you're going to let go, and it'll pull in all the way, and then it'll spin up and read. Well, I told him about this workaround, and he said, well, I'd rather have the Blu-ray drive replaced. And I said, okay. And I gave him the serial numbers for it so that he could go up online and find the correct drive and purchase it and have it sent to me. And then what I'm going to be doing in that video is I'm going to be swapping out the motherboards for the drives, specifically between the two drives. So the old drive is going to have its brain pulled out, the new drive is going to have its brain pulled out, the new drive's brain is going to be set aside, and the old brain is going to go into the new drive, and then that is going to get put into the Xbox One. And that will fix the issue, because the old brain will have new physical parts, new mechanical parts to drive. Now the reason why we do that is the brain boards and the motherboard on the inside of the Xboxes, just like the Xbox 360, are married with a registry code. And it's because of that that we have to perform that procedure. I detailed that in one of my Xbox 360 videos previously on the channel, if you want further information on that. Now then, here's what we're going to do right now. We're going to go ahead and jump right in. For this mod, the 12-volt fan mod on the Xbox One, from start to finish, and I'm also going to test it for you afterwards. Now, from tools you're going to need. Number 1, a spudger. Number 2, I should have opened up my toolkit first. A never seen wetness or the inside of a human mouth toothbrush. Never seen anything but electronic parts and dust, this one, I think. And that's to knock out dust and other nasty from the board, just in case there's any buildup. We want to go ahead and brush that off. Number 3, a Torx driver set. And number 4, a series of small electronics picks. We're also going to want to have heat shrink tube and a lighter, which I forgot to get. Please excuse me. I'll be right back. We're back. Alright, now then. Something absolutely great about the Xbox One is that you don't need anything crazy to open it up. You don't need one of these. Now, the other fun thing is, with the Xbox One, they started putting in a higher quality thermal paste, so I will also not be taking off the heatsink and replacing the thermal paste with Arctic Silver or anything like that. Now here's the reason for that. When I originally did the first video for Xbox One 12-volt fan modding this past Christmas, Christmas 2015, we stress tested that Xbox One, and that Xbox One was able to play Metal Gear Solid: The Phantom Pain for 5 hours straight. 5 hours straight. And I very carefully, very gently, let's, for example, say that this is the one that was. While my friend was playing, I gently lifted it up very carefully, and then I put my hand here on the underside, because right up here up top, I'll go ahead and show you here. You can see this on the camera because I can see it in my viewfinder there. Right here, this is where the fan is, which means directly below this is where the processor is. So what I did is I put my hand down here on the bottom to feel for heat. It was cold. Let that sink in. It was cold. Room temperature cold. And that's with the native fan, nothing else messed with, just unlimiting the fan. The system runs cold, as in at room temperature. That's impressive, in my opinion. That means that this thing has a damn good cooling unit in it. Now, if it's got a damn good cooling unit in it, why are we going to be performing this mod? Reason number 1. When the Xbox One gets hot, it has a thermometer underneath the processor. When it reaches a certain temperature, the Xbox One will downclock the processor and speed up the fan to cool it off. Sounds okay, doesn't it? Now, what sounds logical to you? Keep that fan spinning faster and then clock the processor back up once it's cooled off and keep it cool with the fan spinning faster? Or reclock the processor and then downclock the fan back to what it was? You go ahead and take a guess at which one they actually do. That's right. Microsoft, in their finite wisdom. Sorry, I was trying to be funny there. I should have said infinite. I guess my cynicism got the better of me. So Microsoft, in their infinite wisdom, instead decided it would be a better idea to have it do this whole yo-yo juggling thing of system heat from the processor and system heat expulsion with the fan. So they're just going back and forth this whole time. So what's the issue with downclocking the processor? Well, anybody on this channel that watches my videos and understands how computers work on the inside will know that when you downclock this processor, you lose system performance because it's not moving as quickly. It's moving more slowly. This means that you're going to get game lag. This means that you're going to get reduced frame rate. This means that you're going to get a whole host of other issues. So game speed lag on the system itself means that if you're playing an online game, your online game is going to start lagging. Your buddies on Xbox Live are going to take notice of that and they're going to be like, hey, why the hell is this guy glitching out? If your system is not experiencing any lag due to the processor being downclocked from heat, well then, the only thing limiting you then is your internet speed. Because we've just eliminated completely the whole reason why your system would be lagging, and that's heat. Remember, heat kills computers. So what do we want to get rid of so that these babies can last longer and play better? Heat. Now then, what all does this mod do? This mod, quite simply, speeds up the fan. That's it. That's all it does physically. What does that mean for the fan? It means that the fan, in about, I'd estimate, 3 to 4 years, because it's a higher end system, you're going to need to go ahead and open it back up, get a replacement fan, put that in, plug it back in, good to go again. Now why do I say 3 to 4, maybe 5 years? Well, on the Xbox 360 S and E, when you overclock those fans, no, also take note, when I say 3 to 4 years, I don't mean like 3 to 4 calendar years. I mean 3 to 4 years of this system being on continuously, never being off. What are you going to need to do other than opening this baby up, which we're about to do, and then unlimiting the fan? The other thing you're going to need to do is set the system to power save mode. If you don't do that, then when you turn off your system, it's still going to be howling all the time, because quick boot mode, it's not actually off. It's still on, producing heat and killing itself. It's part of Microsoft's designed obsolescence, so that you can then turn around and buy an Xbox One S. Don't get me started on the Xbox One S engineering problems. Yeah, it's got 4K, whoopity-doo. They also did something stupid and shoved the power brick up its butt. You know what that means? You guessed it, more heat. So, let's get right to it and open this thing up. First things first, shiny sticker says, that it hasn't been opened up to any officially licensed repair service from Microsoft that will bless off on them so that those guys can open it up and not you, so that you don't learn Microsoft dirty little secrets. We don't care about that. So, away the sticker goes. What you're going to do is you're going to go right here along this zoom in. So what you're going to do is, right along this seam, you're going to take your sharp end of the pick, sharp knife will do it too, and you're just going to gently sever it right there, right along the seam. Why? Because it stays pretty that way. Next, I'm going to come right here along this side. What are we going to do here? I'm going to very carefully reach in under this fin, this fin right here, and then we are going to pry outward very gently, and then it will release on its own very gently. You might have to wrestle it and coax it just a little bit there at the end, and it comes right off. That sticker's cut, this warranty's gone, guys. You better not forget that. I voided my warranty for you. Okay, back to action. Next, this little piece of plastic here. Take note. Just gonna put our fingers on it, and make an idiot of myself. It will slide any second here. I can just coax it to... There it is. Slides right out. Nice and gentle like. Next, push fingers here. Here. And we're going to press on the bottom portion here. Top portion maybe. Yeah, sorry, top portion. And then we're going to continue with that pressure along the sides to try to gently coax it to open up, which this does not seem to want to do. The first time you open up the Xbox One, it'll be difficult. Every time after that, though, it gets easier. Well, it will be easier anyway, because... Hang on, I need to take a look in there. Yep. Okay, there it is. Alright. So there's a little clippity-doo right here that comes down from the top and hooks onto the bottom. So you gotta press in there good and hard and then lift up. Well, that sticker's gone. Oh well. Goodbye, foul beast. And you're just going to keep pressing along the seams. Get your spudger to help you if you need it. This is not easy from this angle. What you're going to do is you're going to come along this side. There it is. Yep, there that went. Look at this spudger. Multiple takes are for pansies. Pansies and perfectionists. Well, I'm kind of a perfectionist when it comes to this. Okay, good. You know what? Yeah, here we go. It seemed like a good idea at the time. I was wrong. There we go. Once all these clips along the back are actually released, these along the side will also release of their own volition. Now then, the next part that we really have to look out for here is right in through here, because all in through here you have touch button ribbon, which is really fragile. So what we do is we gently lift up, and that releases. And then the next thing we have to do is get that guy right there. Now there's really not a very good angle for me to be able to do this at, to be able to illustrate it to you perfectly, because it's in such a tight spot, but it is exactly like what you find on the Xbox 360S with its touch buttons. And you'll see that in just a second. Right there. That's what was holding it on. I'm going to go ahead and zoom back out so you can see that. That's the ribbons. And we're going to come back to this top piece in just a moment. And this right here, zoom back in. Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, that right there, that was the clasp actually holding it on. And that ribbon cable is real short. Now then, next thing that we're going to do, and this is going to make our lives easier when we put this back together. Gently move the Xbox One aside for now. Right in through here, as you can see, you have all these little clasps. Zoom in to give you a better view. Right there. Right here along the bottom. This is what you're looking at right here. Okay? What we're going to do is we're going to release all of those clasps. We're going to do that very gently. You can use a flathead screwdriver. I most times like to use a pick. What you're going to do is you're just going to press down there, and then you're also going to be lifting up with your fingers like so to prevent it from relatching. Now right here there is another clasp holding some 3 fins right here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go right along the row. Let me zoom in again so you can actually see what I'm doing. And I'll just press down, lift up, press down, lift, and press down, lift, press down, lift, press down, lift, press down, lift. Think of it. The drive for the other Xbox One just arrived. If I was live streaming right now, if I knew how to do that, I'd ask you if you wanted me to go ahead and do one long video where I show you everything all at once. But you know what? It's 2 different topics, so I'll just make 2 different videos. Alright. So, plastic top of the Xbox One. Plastic face of the Xbox One. Or, no, they actually have a Gen 1 Xbox, or sorry, a Gen 2 Xbox One out. The Gen 1, or sorry, the Xbox One Gen 1. They've had a long day. Set that aside. Okay, so, now we have bare parts. And we can start getting to work. Here's your system speaker. This is the thing that makes all those lovely beat-onk noises whenever you turn it on or turn it off. We need to disconnect that from the front plate because this metal top will come off. It's not actually attached to the top like the Xbox 360. And then we've also got this static conductivity pad here. The board is bolted onto the actual front of this case that everything sits inside of. Here's your Blu-ray drive. We'll be seeing that again later in a different video. This is your wireless device cable. That's your antenna actually. I'm going to disconnect that gently just by taking your sputter and then kind of wiggling it underneath the clasp here. And zoom back in because I'm being terrible at my cinematography today. Yes. There is your antenna attachment. And right there is where it connected. Now then, getting this guy off of the top of the system is actually necessary, even though it doesn't really look like it at face value. It actually is. Here's why. There's a case screw underneath this. So, the two screws for this are going to be right there and right there. So, what do? Take our torque set, and we are going to test the heads and see which one will actually catch inside there. It looks like this one. So we're going to go ahead and set that up like so, and take it right on out. I think I have video stabilization on this camera and I don't know how to turn it off. Sorry if I'm making people dizzy. Alright, that's 1 and 2. Next, we gently lift towards the front, just prying it up straight, and then it comes right up. It's got the little plug on the bottom. Now this plug here has a wire that goes down into the system and then plugs into the motherboard on the bottom there. We're going to have to open the system case up, going this way to actually not rip that cord out and not destroy anything. So that is steps 1 and 2 there. Let's go ahead and size up these other bolts here. Now then, the bolts that you're going to be unscrewing. Hey babe, could you pass me a Sharpie real quick? Thank you very much. Alright, now then, the bolts that you're going to be unscrewing are anything that is labeled with a C and the number. So right here, the one that I just marked. Here, I'm going to get that back in frame. Not cooperating. You can see it's C8. See that? Well, actually, no, you can't. Now that I actually look at my... Come on, focus. Focus, darn you. There it is. C8 is what that one is. And anything else on the board that has a letter and a number. So we're just going to go ahead and mark those now. Huh. And it seems as though I just ran out of ink. Well, that was actually kind of miraculous. Yeah, this one's out of ink completely. Okay, so it lasted for... I'm an idiot. I had a whole nother marker right here. God, all the mess ups. That's okay, it's been a while since I last filmed. And right there is the case screw that we were talking about earlier. That's the one that was underneath the Wi-Fi board. Okay, so let's go ahead and take these out. Now all of these bolts are exactly the same, they're all identical. So you can either A, lay them out in a mapping pattern so that you end up putting the same bolts back into the exact same holes, or you can B, just put them in a pile jumble and then throw them back in willy-nilly. It is up to you. I do recommend knocking off all of the plastic screw dust that comes out with them, because that can cause problems later. Just going to take these up. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Because if you're turning your screw and you hear a sudden loud popping, cracking noise, that's a bad thing. You just completely murdered some of the plastic on the inside. Now, the case speaker can actually come off. Check underneath there for a screw. There's no screw under there. It's just got a little clasp on the back here that you just pinch and then pry up and come right off. I was initially planning on saving these videos for later, but the way my holiday season is going to be, it's going to be so very hectic, and I'm not going to be able to post probably. So anyway, that's how that goes. And we've got 4 more. Now, once you actually get into this physically, when we actually open it up, you'll notice, if you haven't already, that the physical architecture, as far as the layout of where all the parts are inside of the system on the Xbox One, is nearly identical to the layout internally of the Xbox 360 Type S and Type E, because it goes drive, fan, hard drive. Or sorry, optical drive, fan, hard drive. And then you've got your control board up front, your Wi-Fi board here, which, if you will think back to the 360S and E teardowns, you will remember that the Wi-Fi board was actually here, plugged in this way, horizontally. And it seemed to be some kind of interesting, odd USB connector that they had on it. Something entirely proprietary. Plastic dust off. Jeez. You know, you can actually tell when you take these apart what temperature everything was at when things were plugged in. And judging by all the plastic dust coming off of these bolts, the bolts were hot on the ends and they were just jammed straight down in. I just melted them into place. Or, yeah. So they basically heat riveted, see, all that? That's evidence of it, of the screw having been hot when they put it together. And what they did is they heated up the screw and then they just jammed it down into place. They didn't actually screw it in. And if anybody shows you a manufacturing video where, you know, they actually are bolting it down in physically, they're lying. Because the forensic evidence says otherwise. Now then, let's go ahead and open this up. Like I said earlier, I gotta watch out for this Wi-Fi cord on here, this side. So we got to lift up gently, and set to the side gently. And here's that cord I was talking about. Let's go ahead and zoom in there. And what we're going to do is we're just going to gently, firmly pull straight up. And it comes right off. Now, if you take notes, you'll actually notice that this is the exact same connector as the power cord for the Xbox 360 Generation 1 DVD drive. Fun facts. Now then, I'm gonna go grab my canned air. Not too much dust in here. That's actually really nice, considering how dusty it was in the cubby that I had it in. Yep. Sergeant was kind of an idiot there, as far as where he's keeping it. But that's okay. Sergeant knows how to fix it. Alright, so, hard drive. I'm going to go ahead and unplug that. That's power. That's data. And then we just lift straight out. Nice convenient carrier. Set that aside. And here it is. Lovely, lovely. The fan and its connector. Do I have any more? No, apparently not. Sorry, I was trying to find more heat shrink tube. Stuff that's not so large as this one here. Some of the black stuff. Oh well, this will do. Do perfectly. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to cut our section of heat shrink tube. After, pull out the plug for the fan. Now then, as I said previously, this fan plug is identical to the fan plug in the Xbox 360 Type S and Type E. That's generation 2 and 3 respectively. The only major difference is, as you can see, it's all black, it's not colored. So what we have to do is, we have to be real careful and we have to play from memory. So, you gotta pay attention to where your teeth are. You got teeth up top, and then you've got your shiny teeth back here. Which means this wire right here on this end, the one that you can see in front of my finger there, this is the wire we want. So, how do we get it? Very, very gently. What we're going to do is we are going to get it back into frame for one, because I need to pay more attention. Now, alright. I'm going to come right in here, gently pry it, try not to murder it, like I almost did just now. I'm going to use a flathead screwdriver or a very sharp knife, but very carefully use it. Alright, so what I've done now is I've wedged behind that one single tooth. And now, to pry it out, I should be able to take this wire and pull that shiny little head right out, fold the rest of it down so that this little guy stays right where I need him to be. Now the next thing we're going to do to encapsulate it is we're going to use our heat shrink tube. Now we're not going to use this whole thing, we're just going to cut a section. But what we're going to do is we're going to measure how much we need first. So let's take a close look at this wire. Got the heat shrink. Come down on it like so. Or actually go like so. And that should be enough right there. And I'm going to leave about a 1/4 inch there of extra headspace, just to be absolutely sure that I have not got any chance of that head touching and making contact with anything else inside the system. So now we just take our heat shrink tube and we cut it. Set the rest aside. Take the primary portion, slip it over, pinch it down to feel where the head is, and then hold it in place. Take our lighter and just gently hit it. Get the rest of it there. Alright, get that cooled off as much as we can, pinch it down, make sure it's not going to come off. The other thing you want to do is there's going to be a lot of carbon on it afterwards from hitting it with the lighter. Sadly, there's nothing you can really do about that other than going ahead and wiping it off with your fingers just to get as much off as you can. And there it is. This Xbox One is now 12 volt fan modded. Now then, putting it back together. I'm going to go ahead and plug it back in like so. Ta-da. I'm going to take the remainder of this wire. We're going to tuck it back on itself. And we're also going to thread it through some of these to hold it in place. If it will cooperate. There it is. So now that's being held in place like so. A better picture of that. There it is. It's held in place, not going to move anywhere, which is exactly what we want. Next, I'm going to take the hard drive, seat it back into place. Now, when you're putting it back in place, you're going to notice on the board in a few different areas. Here, interesting. So here, and I think right about here, and also here, you will notice the points on this, two of which lance through the board for stability, and then three of which actually take a screw. So I'm going to very gently set it back down into place in exactly the same position as it was in, and wiggle it just a touch to get it seated, and there it is. Now we don't have to worry about that wire making contact with the bottom of the hard drive because the bottom of the hard drive is bolted onto plastic. It's a plastic carrier, not electroconductive, not a worry. Next, we just go ahead and plug the hard drive back in. That's power. Right there is data. And there's that. Next, we're going to put the lid back on now that all of the internal parts are back in place. And doing that is as easy as it was to take it all apart. First, we're going to go ahead and plug the Wi-Fi cord back into place. Pay attention to where your teeth are. Okay? Alright. That sits right back in there, just like so. We're going to take this and we're just going to set it back down. But while we're doing that, just completely botched that, I apologize. Alright, so There it is. I'm going to seat this back down. The only thing you have to be careful of is right up front, right here, right there, is that static pad right there. So what we're going to do, gently lift the case top, press down on the back of that pad to bring it closer to the board up front. We're going to reseat this right back into place. And that pad should overlap the foam. Okay. And there it is. Pretty as a picture. Now we're going to bolt it back down. Try to zoom back out. When you're bolting it back in, the screw points are going to be slightly weaker than what they were when you initially pulled them out. So you want to be careful not to go too tight so that you don't strip the screw wells. Tongue twister. Had a long day. You can forgive me, right? Again, I like to go ahead and circle my screw points where the screws are going to go. That way I know right where I pulled them all out from. That way I don't end up trying to bolt something right through the silicone and end up breaking something, because I did that once. I did that one time and one time only, and that was in high school. It was in high school when I was first starting out with my electronics expertise. I was wondering, why won't this bolt go into its hole? So I kept pressing and pressing and pressing. And then I got a power drill because I got frustrated and I wanted it to go faster. Well, the power drill certainly put that screw right into that hole. It put that screw into that hole and right through the circuit board, right next to, well, actually right through the BIOS. For those of you who know what a BIOS chip is, that's what tells the motherboard how to brain. It is what tells the motherboard how to motherboard. Without it, you're slightly screwed. Anyhow, it was a big deal because I'd gone straight through the BIOS chip, plugging the sound back in. Yeah, I had to get a new motherboard. It was gone. Go ahead and put the Wi-Fi hardware back on. Remember the orientation that we had it in initially? Plug, plug. Pay attention to your teeth holes. Yep. Hang on, I should probably show it to you this way. Them's right there's the teeth holes, which means that this guy goes this way. Press right down, take its screws, swap your Torx driver to the correct size Torx driver. And then bolt it back into place gently. Because remember, the only evidence that we want to leave is a system that is howling, keeps itself cool, and does not suffer from lag. So that you can play those marathon sessions of Destiny and Fallout 4 and Deus Ex Mankind Divided, which is what I'm currently playing. Little plug there. You're welcome, Square Enix. Give me money. No, seriously, Square, give me money. Alright, Now that the Wi-Fi card is plugged back in, we go ahead and... I should have shown you that. Pop that back off. Alright, so Wi-Fi card's back in place. I was joking, I went ahead and plugged the antenna back in without showing you how I did that. It's the exact same as it was on the 3DS in the video that I did for that. I think that may have been on my other channel anyhow. Go ahead and plug this in like so. Press down. And we come around forward to right here. Plug this guy in right here. Like so. Good to go. Alright. I am running out of memory on the thing. It's telling me that it's out of memory. So I'm going to have to go ahead and stop the video here, pull the card, dump the data, and then be right back. And yeah, okay, I think we're back. Alright. Yep. Okay. Now that we're back, let's put it back together. So, we're going to start off with the last step of the process. The last step of the process is going to be to put the faceplate back on. I have it upside down. Why? That's why. Because of all these little guys right here. It's a difficult process to get it right the first time that you do it, but stick with it, don't be too worried, and you'll be just fine. Alright, now then. Down here on the case, this wire here, your audio wire, is going to want to try and come out this way, so just make sure that you gently brush, make sure that it's up. Now then, what we're going to do is you just take the top of it and you set it down. Actually, you know what? Let's get that turntable back up here. Okay. So what you need to pay attention to is right here in the back as you're putting it back together. Again, remember, get your fins on this side to line up with your fan, okay? What you're going to do is you're just going to gently seat it down over these. Make sure it's seated down over those. Make sure it's seated down right there, which it seems to have seated itself. And you're just going to press down firmly but gently. Gently massage it into place. And it's good. Next, we're not going to be putting this corner piece on just yet. I think I misspoke earlier. Yeah, I did. I misspoke earlier when I said that the faceplate was going to be last. The faceplate is actually second. This side piece is actually last. So, the faceplate. This is the difficult part, because you have to reattach this ribbon cable. And I apologize for this. There's no easy way for me to show you how to do this. It's not that I can think of right off the top of my head. Once I get a camera operator in here, but then we're going to be looking at shaky cam, and I don't like shaky cam. So what we do is we align all these teeth here on the bottom. Okay? Align all these teeth. Because what they're going to do is they're going to grab and hook across. I'm sorry, they're going to grab and then hook up and over. So what we got to do is we have to take this ribbon cable, and it's going to feel like it's about to rip, but that's why you're supporting the faceplate with your hand as you do this, and you just try to, let me get that in frame, goodness, I'm trying to show you all this, it does not want to cooperate, and my hands are too large. Ah, goodness. Let's see if I can get some light on the subject. There we go. Alright, so what we do, gently bring this, line up the teeth, gently bring this up, And I try to make sure that it is in frame. And then ladies and gentlemen, I apologize. Having difficulties with this. All the difficulties. So we're going to do this the bad idea way. Alright. Got that hooked. Bring in this guy here. Make sure it is hooked. And now it is hooked and making contact. So the next thing we do is we press and push gently. And it'll snap right back into place. Now then, about those teeth. Gotta get right down in there with those teeth, see how they're aligned. Okay? I'm gonna zoom out. Now I'm gonna get in frame better. Okay, so now the bottom teeth are aligned. Gently raise it into position. Pay attention to the teeth on the top portion of the case. Some of them might want to try and skip out. You just got to massage it gently into place. And it pops right back on. Pretty as a picture. Next, take the corner piece. There's two guide rails here. I'm going to set it into those guide rails. Slide it right back in place and test. And if you can feel and hear a slight clicking sound when you press the controller sync button, you're good. Then you take the side part here and you just massage that down into place. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you 12-volt fan mod the fan on the Xbox One. Now then, I'm going to go ahead and cut for just a moment. I'm going to set the camera back up on top of my television, not on top of the television, on my coffee table. I'm going to plug the Xbox One back in, and I'm going to show you what this sounds like when it's spinning up, and I'm also going to show you what system settings you need to have in place. So, here we go. Okay, and we're back. Now then, I'm going to power up the Xbox One using my handy remote. I said power it up using my handy remote. There we go. Now you can hear that from back here. It's louder than what it was, sure, but it's going to be running a lot colder than what it was too. So we're going to wait for this thing to go ahead and finish booting up. Now, a few of you were asking in the comments section, will Microsoft ban me for doing this? The answer, absolutely not. The reason, Microsoft doesn't do a systems check for how fast or slow the fan is going. So, ultimately, does it matter? No, it does not. Now, I'm actually already noticing that this is booting up a little bit faster than what it normally does. We're going to wait for it to finish booting up, and we'll know that it's finished booting up when it loads up my background. course, there was a system update earlier today before I did this. And for whatever odd reason... Okay, there we go. Go ahead and sign in there. That's strange. Where's my background? I am signed into my profile. Let's try signing back in. The issues that we're having right now are actually probably due to the system update. There we go. There's my background. Alright. Now then. When you do this, like I said earlier, you need to have your power settings set to power save mode instead of quick boot mode. So to do that, you just go into your settings like I showed you right there. You go down here to power and startup. Skip over to power mode and startup, which my camera is not focusing very well. Possibly it does not like my television. That's okay. Cameras normally don't like my television. Alright, so power and media setting, or sorry, power mode and startup. Here we have it set to turn off after 1 hour of inactivity, which is a good idea for everybody. I recommend it. You go to power mode. Go to energy saving instead of instant on. If it's down here on instant on, put it up here on energy saving, select that, and now you're good to go. Now then, you're worried about this thing just howling at you all night. Well, worry no longer. I'm going to go ahead and power it off now. And just so you know that there's no shenanigans, there's the Xbox down there. Turn console off. And it's doing its system shutdown check. And it's off. And it's not howling anymore. And it's not howling anymore because it is well and truly off. Now then, please go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. Just understand that I don't upload videos all the time. To everybody out there who watched my 12-volt fanmod video of the Xbox One that I uploaded at Christmas, that thing last time I saw had like 6 million views. That's the first time I've reached that many views on any video. For me, that was astounding, and to all of you, I thank you. I don't do this for money, that's why none of my videos are monetized. Anyhow, I'd have probably gotten like maybe $1 or a penny for all those views on just one video, so I'm not going to sweat it. I know I have a small channel, but then again, I'm a small hobbyist. Alright, so Xbox One 12-volt fan mod, I recommend it. Because number one, your system will never overheat. It will run at room temperature or below. Number two, because of this, you will never experience game lag. Number three, because of this, you will never experience lag as far as internet gaming is concerned unless your internet connection starts screwing up. So, anytime that you have lag from now on, if you're playing an online game, it's not your fault. It's not the system's fault either. After you've done this, if you've got lag, there's something else going on. Alright, that's it from me. Have a great night. Happy modding. See you later.